But let's talk to a former FBI agent about all these things that are, at this time, intertwined. Todd, welcome. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Nice to have you here, and get close to the mic there. As a former FBI agent, now learning that another former FBI agent is going to lead this investigation, do you have trust that that will be a complete and thorough investigation?
I do. Bob Mueller was, of course, the director of the FBI, and before that, he was a federal prosecutor. He was a homicide prosecutor. He was very, very, very successful and very highly credentialed. I don't believe that Mueller would take the assignment unless he was assured that he would have full access and he could call it as he sees it.
Now, this is going to be something like what happened at Penn State with the Free report, correct?
Correct. And Louis Freeh, of course, was the FBI director who was replaced by Bob Mueller.
Okay.
So there's some history of bringing in these high-profile Department of Justice folks. Interesting, both of them were assistant United States attorneys before they became the director of the FBI. So they have prosecution credentials as well.
All right, let's ask this basic question. Either Roger Goodell is a liar or he's completely incompetent. That office that he is the head of, that it's his house, it's the place that he presides over everything NFL related. In April, there's documented proof that they received a copy of the video showing Ray Rice punching his wife. Do you believe he saw it? And if he didn't, what's his excuse or what's his reasoning?
Do I believe he saw it? I don't know enough to conclude whether he did or not, and I've read some of the that source material that the tape was sent. I don't know the credibility of that source.
The AP's pretty credible.
Okay, well, but I don't know who's talking to the AP. But if Goodell saw the tape, I think he's done, unquestionably. And if Goodell saw the tape, I think he will leave before Mueller has the opportunity to expose that fact.
What if he didn't see the tape? Isn't that incompetency enough to get him to resign or also to be fired?
It could be. If he was on notice, if he reasonably could have expected. And I think logically, when you take a look at some footage, you would want to see, well, what occurred 5 seconds before that, 10 seconds before that. If you're on notice, if there's some reason to believe that there's more to the picture than what you're being seen, of course you have that obligation to see everything.
Now, I have to ask this question. How does the DA and the police see this tape and Ray Rice not spend any time in jail? How does that happen, ultimately?
Well, ultimately, Ian, I think that this is going to cause a reexamination of how these cases are handled by local prosecutors' offices, because what probably happened is that the wife came in and said, listen, I really don't want to pursue this. My husband's a good man. We're going to work this out through counseling.
Should it be up to her, though? I mean, we know about how abused women react. I mean, we had Julie Weintraub talking yesterday, and that's exactly how they react. We should be still listening to them?
Yes, you should still be listening to them, but you should be listening to them, but at the same time, there's a larger policy that needs to be considered and addressed, because as you note, sometimes abused people don't want to be the victim. There are financial reasons, there are psychological reasons, there are personal reasons, and people want to get past it. But the job of the prosecution frequently is to recognize, listen, this woman may have a motive for denying what happened that we need to address.
Financial, emotional, whatever that motive is. Now, as the case that Mueller will investigate, Roger Goodell also could be liable for Ray Rice being reinstated into the league, because if he was punished with them knowing what was on the tape, with Roger Goodell knowing what was on the tape, punished 2 games, which was not severe enough, but that's another argument for another day. He's already punished. Now the public reaction, oh, wow, people are up in arms. We're going to have to suspend him indefinitely. That's not due process, even with Roger Goodell being judge, jury, and executioner.
I'm not so sure. I think that Ray Rice's claim will be for damages. So if he's suspended and he's not paid out on his contract, he'll claim I lost the benefit of all that money. But if Roger Goodell or the FBI re-examined an issue and recognized, listen, we got this wrong the first time and we want to correct it, I think that's probably a good thing. I think people should look at their actions, and if they realize they've made a mistake, should take corrective actions. So this is going to be about money. This is going to be about whether or not he gets paid out the rest of his contract or not.
Who in a year will be in the NFL, Roger Goodell or Ray Rice?
Neither.
I don't see how you can keep Ray Rice out. I really don't. I don't. I mean, there's been so many. There's been 85 domestic abuse situations since 2000. You can't just leave one guy out because there's a videotape. That's unjust.
It's unjust, but unfortunately for him, he's become the poster child for this issue. And
so is Roger Goodell.
Well, that's why I predict neither of them will be there next year.
Who has a better chance of being in the NFL next year? I would say Ray Rice.
Ray Rice.
I agree.
Okay.
Gotta be.
Todd, by the way, I now recognize your name because a very good friend of mine, Will Florin, was telling me how responsible you were for all the work that was done on many cases when you worked for another law firm, and the other attorney got a lot of the headlines, but you did all of the hard work.
It happens like that a lot, doesn't it?
Well, I'm on my own now.
Smart move, brother. Smart move.
Good for you.
You're among attorneys. You are so well respected. Thank you for being on this morning.
Thank you for saying that.
His office right in my hood, right on a Kennedy.
Nice.
Perfect. That's beautiful.
All right, we'll come back. Howard Balzer will be on.